We're 5 days into an Alaskan cruise on Ruby Princess, and even though the weather hasn't been great, my mom and I have still been able to see some stunning sights in Juneau, Skagway, and Glacier Bay National Park. We're still enjoying the ship, but continue to experience a growing list of minor hiccups. Join me for highlights of days 3 to 5 of our Alaskan cruise on Ruby Princess. Hey cruisers, Andrew from Ottawa, Canada here. Welcome to the Chill Cruiser, where I review cruise ships from a chill perspective, sharing tips on how to save time, money, and grief on your cruise vacations. It's day 5 of my 7-day Alaska cruise on Ruby Princess with my mom. Since my last video, we've been to Juneau, Skagway, and Glacier Bay National Park. Even though the weather's been cool and foggy, we've still been able to enjoy some stunning sights. This is my 3rd time to Alaska, but my first visit this late in the season. Over the years, I've sailed here in May or June, and even though it's early July, this has been the worst weather of the 3 visits by far, with the temperature averaging 11 degrees Celsius or 51 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also had the most families and kids, which I guess isn't surprising since schools are out. Today I'll share some highlights of our ports and experiences on the ship. We're still enjoying Ruby Princess, but we're experiencing small hiccups every day that are starting to add up. Let's start in Juneau. Luckily we docked right in town this time around and not a mile outside of town like my last cruise on Majestic Princess. We did the excursion that takes you to Mendenhall Glacier Park and the Goldbelt Tram, and we were very glad we did. I've never been to Mendenhall since it's not very accessible from the town. It's a long public bus ride that involves a 45-minute walk or a $70 direct bus, so it just made sense to do the excursion. We walked the full trail to visit the waterfall, which was quite the sight. Mom couldn't get over how powerful it was. The best vantage point for the glacier was basically every other part of the park except the waterfall, including the photo point and from outside or inside the visitor center. Once we got back to Juneau, we went up the Goldbelt Tram to Mount Roberts, which I think is also a must-see. It's right in front of where most of the ships dock and only takes a few minutes to ride. You get to see a fantastic view of the town and surrounding area. It was raining this time, so we stayed inside, but when the weather's better, it's definitely worth spending some time on their patio and exploring the surrounding trails. On Friday, we arrived in Skagway and boarded the White Pass Railway, which is one of the most popular excursions there for very good reason. You travel over 21 miles and climb more than 3,000 feet to experience some of the most stunning scenery. Traversing a narrow gauge track over multiple bridges and through several mountain tunnels, all of which were built in the late 1800s during the gold rush. You can sit in the comfortable train to soak in the views or walk out onto viewing platforms on either end of each train car to breathe in the fresh air and take some fantastic photos or footage. The next day we experienced the beautiful Glacier Bay National Park for the first time. Even though it was cool, rainy, and very foggy, we still got to see several glaciers and hints of the stunning scenery. It was a bit eerie to see the mountains shrouded by so much fog. I was impressed with how well organized our visit was to the park. We didn't just sail by a few glaciers, we were boarded by several park rangers early in the morning, and they were everywhere on the ship throughout the day, sharing commentary over the PA speakers, walking about the Lido deck, and hosting enrichment sessions in the theater. We received a map and guide the night before, and screens throughout the ship had guides to the various events happening throughout the day. There was also a great introductory video loaded onto each cabin TV. At the Marjorie Glacier, the ship rotated several times so everyone could get a great view regardless of their location on the ship. They also had stations located throughout the ship with drinks, hot chocolate, hot soup, and warm souvenir clothes for sale. A lot of the public areas were crowded, but we did find some quiet places to relax and discovered a great hidden viewing platform above the bridge. I would definitely recommend picking an Alaskan itinerary with Glacier Bay. One thing that was glaringly clear on our cold and rainy day in Glacier Bay was that there isn't an indoor pool on Ruby Princess or most Princess ships. There are 4 heated outdoor pools, one for adults only at the front, but I think it would be ideal for Alaska-bound ships to have an indoor pool option, especially considering the weather. Majestic Princess does have a nice indoor pool and observation lounge, but unfortunately it's only sailing this year out of Seattle. Another thing I noticed after being on the ship a few days is the decor. It's a very classic look that some might consider dated. I think most of the ship feels like a sort of comfortable private club, but it's probably not to everyone's taste, especially when you compare to Princess's newer ships or the ships we've been parked next to in ports on this cruise like the Celebrity Edge. Activities and nightlife on the ship continue to be impressive. All of the trivia events and game shows have been entertaining and very well attended. The piazza was packed for Princess's Puppies in the Piazza event, where you could get a close-up glimpse of very cute local puppies. The talented party band Neofunk crowded the piazza dance floor at the 80s party, and there was a great tribute to Whitney Houston by guest vocalist Trina Johnson Finn. We're still enjoying the main dining room, but as with other Princess ships lately, the specialty restaurants have been hit and miss and understaffed. We enjoyed our meal in the steakhouse, but the server was very rushed and disappeared after we got dessert. We were both disappointed with the Italian restaurant, which was also understaffed. Our server was very friendly, but literally had to run around the dining room to keep up with all of our tables. My mom's lobster ravioli dish arrived lukewarm with the pasta shells undercooked, but we did both enjoy our desserts. There have been a few other minor annoyances like long waits for packed elevators and room service. We ordered room service yesterday afternoon and had to give up after waiting an hour and a half. Overall though, the crew is very friendly and we're enjoying the cruise. Today we're in Ketchikan and it looks like we'll finally have clear skies and more seasonal temperatures. Watch out for more updates over the next week. Thank you for watching and happy cruising.